Boktai. People are going to go like, oh man, a walking simulator. Y'all forgot about Boktai. Kojima actually made everybody go touch grass. He was like, please go outside. Please let the sun hit your face. Taking vitamin D pills is not enough, and you need to get out there. Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Andy B Show. So glad you're here. This is a podcast about video games. And if you were looking for one of those, because there's just not enough out there, you came to the right place. You found it. So glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in, wherever you might be, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Maybe you're catching me somewhere else. I don't even know where this stuff's getting stolen and reposted and decidedly turned into some other weird AI slop. I can only imagine that it's not even my face and they've auto-tuned my voice differently. And you've got me out there in Thailand somewhere. Hello, Thailanders. I actually do get a number of people that, based on the YouTube traffic, tune in from like Bangkok. So what's poppin', Bangkok? I don't know. Like, it's good to see you. What's been going on since we last met? Just so you know, true to my word, I did give away the Nintendo Switch online subscription. There was like a 1-year subscription. I was giving it away to anybody, a random person that would join the Patreon. So if you missed that chance to win, we'll do something else again soon. Go to patreon.com/theandybshow, BEE. Patreon.com/theandybshow. It's totally free. We're going to have a bunch of new posts coming out there. And of course, it's just a great way to figure out, hey, did the new podcast drop on Monday at 11 a.m. Central like it normally does? The answer is yes, but then you get to click on it from your email and you can listen to it in the Patreon app. Or, of course, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. So thank you so much for following me, rating the show. Give me little likes and thumbs up along the way. Really appreciate you. Let's get into some video games. I mean, we've got a long list of video games to talk about this week. And one of the biggest ones that came out since we last met, as you might imagine, it's kind of a big deal. It's the video game of the week. And it is Death Stranding. Death Stranding 2 specifically. Hazador Gaming here on Threads gave the list. It's not the full Metacritic, but it has the list of the Metacritic. And it's 10s and 9s out of 10 across the board for Death Stranding 2 on the beach. So if you're playing it, you're probably having a great time. Everybody that has been talking about Death Stranding 2 seems to be having an absolutely amazing time with it. A lot of the complaints about Death Stranding 1 were, hey, it's a walking simulator. I have said before, and I'll say again, I think that's mostly for people that kind of never made it out of the main zone. They never really made it home, never really made it out of chapter 2. Because I think if you make it out of chapter 2 for Death Stranding, you're going to realize that it is really you can't say a traditional Kojima game, because I don't think there is one. They're all different, though they share some of the same, DNA, right? They're all very Kojima, but so many of the last few games prior to Death Stranding, it was tactical espionage action. And a lot of people forget that he made that weird Game Boy Advance game where it had a sunlight sensor. And if you went outside, you could play a certain way. And if you didn't, if you weren't in the sun, you were in the dark. And the game played very differently if you were in the sunlight or in the dark. I can't remember that. Boktai. People are going to go like, oh man, a walking simulator. Y'all forgot about Boktai. Kojima actually made everybody go touch grass. He was like, please go outside. Please let the sun hit your face. Taking vitamin D pills is not enough, and you need to get out there. Boktai. What a game. So, he's always done creative and weird and different things in his games. Famously, people know, hey, back in Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PlayStation 1, when you fought Psycho Mantis. There was no way to beat him if you didn't really think outside the literal console box. You had to switch your controller from port 1 to port 2. What? So has been doing, Kojima's been doing incredible things with video games and just busting genres for forever, but people got kind of upset about Death Stranding 1. They're like, it's a big walking sim. I'm just delivering things. Like, what's going on? And I don't think they played past chapter 3. When you make, or even out of chapter 2, when you get in your first chapter or 2, you're walking slow. You've got no upgrades. You're losing cargo all over the place. You can't make it to where you're supposed to go. And you're really like, it's the worst, most challenging. Like, I'm getting the least amount of stuff done for the maximum amount of effort. And you don't even make it to these VR missions. And I don't remember if the VR missions in the first game are only in the collector's edition, because that's the version I've been playing, the director's cut. I played a little bit of the non-director's cut version when it first came out, but the director's cut's the one I've been playing through on Death Stranding 1. And I'm showing, if you're watching this on Spotify or YouTube in video form, showing the Death Stranding 2 final trailer as we talk about it. But there's VR missions for sure in the second game, and there absolutely were in the first. And those VR missions, as I said last week, very much played like the VR missions from Metal Gear Solid. And it was tactical stealth action, small scenarios set up, and you really had to, use all the tools, limited ammo, sneaking around, distracting people. And I immediately found that in the first Death Stranding. As soon as you're going up to a base or trying to get past somebody, it's like you are dealing with tactical espionage action. You need to use all those tools. And in the second game, I guess they've just kind of like taken all the, all the wheels off, all the rails, all the things that might slow you down, and have really said like, look, you're going to get to the good much faster. And so the feedback I've been seeing online is very much like, you're getting to cool stuff way faster. There's a lot of it. And so if you were somebody that would, maybe didn't have the patience for the first game, but otherwise liked Kojima's games, sounds like you're going to have a better time with this one. I'm looking forward to it, but I think they're so unique that unlike an Assassin's Creed game where you can just kind of, you can really get tired of like how long they go on for, how big and just thick they end up getting, that you could just decide like, man, I'm done and I'm moving to the next Assassin's Creed game. Because every time you get to the new one, they do a pretty good job of getting you to the good stuff faster. And they've had a lot of opportunities to do this, but they kind of bloat and slow down towards the end. They just do. And so, you could get to the end of an Assassin's Creed game and go, okay, let me just look up how this story ends and I'll move on to the new one, which maybe has better gameplay or maybe it has, more interesting mechanics and I'm probably going to get to good stuff again faster. And so Assassin's Creed games, like you really have to slog through the end. But I don't want to miss anything great that's happening in one of these Kojima games. I've definitely missed some. I haven't beaten every Kojima game before, and neither have you. And if you have, you're the best of us, right? Really. So maybe you've beaten all of them. I've not. But it looks really good. I'm not going to skip the last however many chapters. I think I have a bunch left in Death Stranding 1. But Death Stranding 1 is really like, well, all of them, it's really this exploration of like death and connection and life and rebirth. And I've been playing another game that is not the same, but it's funny. Like, I feel like it's exploring some of the same themes. And it's definitely not the same game at all. But I finally got around to it. This is another game that came out like in the early 2020s or the, right? It seemed like it was like during the pandemic, really. So I posted on Threads. You could follow me there at andrew.m.b on Threads. I said, I know I'm supposed to be playing Death Stranding this weekend, either the old one or the new one. One of them. But I'm not. I haven't been. I've been deep into the Switch. And I posted on Threads, they have this new feature there. Anybody that's still hanging out on X, sorry, like you might be missing out. Threads is so cool. They added spoiler tags for stuff. And so you could just like spoiler tag videos or pieces of your post. I said, I'm supposed to be playing Death Stranding 2 this weekend, but as it turns out, I'm playing Spiritfarer. I missed Spiritfarer the first time it came around, but after I saw like everything that's going on with At Fate's End, which I've been talking about a little bit, At Fate's End looks so good. And it's made by the same devs that did Spiritfarer. And I'm like, man, I'm going to have to give Spiritfarer another chance. And for a couple more days, depending on when you listen to this, it's like on a crazy sale. Steam, it's like $3. Switch, it's like $4 or $5 for Spiritfarer. And it's like, I think it's going to like ruin me in the way that like the Death Stranding you can. It's like, oh man, I'm dealing with some heavy stuff, but there's this fun gameplay around it. And Spiritfarer makes it even more cute. It's a little animated cat that hangs out with you, but you're basically taking over for Charon, the soon to be former Spiritfarer. And so your job is to ferry off using your ferry boat the spirits of the dead to the afterlife. But before they go, you kind of hang out with them. You hang out with them on this boat, and they have tasks that they want you to do. You cook for them. You collect and upgrade your ship. Famously, on fishing. It's got a lot of fishing involved. And so there's a lot to do in it. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty lighthearted. It's very much like a 2D exploration, character exploration, lots of activities, lots of upgrading, lots of base building, and then they just hit you with a gut punch. You have to let somebody go to the afterlife. And it's got a lot of, thematically similar things to what's going on. I don't think Norman Reedus, Sam Porter Bridges is Charon in these games, but these thematic explorations seem very similar. They're just obviously one of them is coming from like a fun 2D, like very cutesy, and you're going to hug these other people you're ferrying and feed them and care for them and then eventually take them off to the other side. Whereas Death Stranding is like, how about some tactical espionage action? You're going to fight some bosses. You're going to listen to some wild music by Woodkid. Man, two like different games, but they seem to be like thematically the same for me. I don't know if I don't know if that resonates. If you've played both of them, maybe you're like, yeah, like Andrew, you got it, buddy. Or maybe you're like, please move on to the next topic. So we will, because the next one up for me is so big. As somebody who has enjoyed Games Magazine, Electronic Gaming Monthly for so long, Edge Magazine, and Game Informer. Game Informer magazine has been going. It was part of GameStop for a really, really long time, 10 years or something like that, if I had to guess. And if you were a GameStop Pro member, you just got the physical or digital subscription eventually for free. And then GameStop's been bought by like private equity, and they basically killed Game Informer magazine. Well, the people that cared about Game Informer found a new owner, a new partner to work with, and they've relaunched the website, they've relaunched the magazine, and they've got all of the old magazines available. And you can subscribe to it. I don't have like an affiliate link for this. This is just me being a fan. You can subscribe to Game Informer again. And that means all the digital issues. I think all of them. Like, I think every issue, I don't know how far back it goes. Like, it just keeps loading. If I scroll this screen, I'm down to issue 291. I'm down to 249, 209. How far can it go? I think they have like every or almost every issue. Enough issues to where you're like probably ready to move on. Like, here I am back at Final Fantasy 9 on issue 89. Let's see. Issue number 1. I have this Sonic the Hedgehog issue 1. Like, I've got a physical copy of that. Or used to. I haven't touched my physical copy of Game Informer 1 in a while, but you can click that if you subscribe and read the whole issue. It's in there. I think it's like in PDF form. I don't think they have it like beautifully like picked out. This is from fall 1991. Who's been around for a while, baby? Like 34 years ago. Like, I don't even know if I'm allowed to show this on the podcast. If you're looking at it, there's an ad for the Illuminator, a Game Boy Light accessory. See your Game Boy in a whole new light. Because back when you had the Game Boy, it didn't have a backlight. It wasn't until like the Game Boy Advance. Maybe one version of Game Boy Color had it. But they didn't have backlights on the screen. They didn't know how to do that. So you attached things to it. Get these old ads in here. I'm probably in here. They're selling. You could call Funko and buy and sell used games from the ad in Game Informer issue #1. Like, great job to the salesperson for making that happen. Really incredible. So all of these old issues are here. So you've got all, like, I don't know if it's all super searchable, but then the new issues here too. Borderlands 4 is the exclusive issue coverage. Now with the new modern issues, if you're on the web, you can see a layout of all of the I was going to say ads. There's probably some ads on here. All of the articles, and they're formatted really nicely for web. So if you want to read like the Borderlands 4 cover story, which I'm not going to, show the whole thing here, but it's laid out nicely. Like here's the whole article. It's super in depth. It's all there. Or you can scroll down to the bottom, and it's got all the articles in the magazine, but it's also got the full like digital layout. So if you'd rather still see it in the digital layout route, you can do that too. But then as a fan of, magazines, I want the print issue. If I'm getting into my bath for an Epsom salt soak, highly recommended, get salted up. Let's get salted up and read Game Informer physical issues. You can do it again. It's coming soon. So if you are a Game Informer fan or have been over the last 30 plus years, it's back out there. They launched the new version. You can subscribe digital or print. I don't have a code. I don't have anything. Game Informer, call me. Like if you want to make a, pitch, I'll make some content about this stuff because I think it's great. Like I really do like it. Let's talk. What else is going on in the news? Okay, I like this one a lot. This one's got me like kind of interested here. So, I've been following this guy Hazador. I've followed him on Twitter for a while, but who needs to be on Twitter when threads exist? Hazador Gaming said, "Hey, Painkiller, the classic action shooter, launches October 9th this year. Like it's coming, which is pretty sweet. If you haven't played Painkiller, the old Painkiller, it's the kind of game that when you watch it, they on YouTube, they make you say, yes, I understand there might be inappropriate content on this webpage. So I haven't watched this trailer yet. It is gory. It's pretty rough. But basically you're like this, always have been like this skeleton demon killer. I actually have no idea if there's even a story in Painkiller. I played the first one way back in the day. And the new one, just instant trailer reactions because I haven't seen this yet. I've been saving it for the show. Looks pretty good. It kind of looks like, the new Doom Eternal game in a way, like if you haven't seen the old Painkiller games, but it's very fast. So in a way, it's like the old Quake games. Or if you remember Serious Sam, looks kind of like the Serious Sam games. There's just a ton of enemies coming at you. And it's available for pre-order now. Steam, PS5, Xbox. Cool. Yeah. Stake gun. Electro driver. Yeah. Gotta check that out. Painkiller. Pretty excited for another Painkiller. We'll see how it goes. I think there's been some, trouble in that studio or in and out. Like I can't remember. I feel like they had layoffs or something. The one place that we do know that there's going to be layoffs again, coming to us from all over the place. I was going to say Bloomberg, but they want me to pay to even look at this article. So kiss off, Bloomberg. Paywall, trying to show off your article. They're laying off people at Xbox again. Microsoft has for a long time published. Hazador hooked us up with a gift subscription, gift share article for the same article on Bloomberg. Nice. Thanks, Hazador. It's like the Hazador show. It's not the Andy B show anymore. Giving that guy so many shout outs, but he gets the news out there. You should follow him if you're interested in gaming news. This show is not so much about news, but it does show up, right? Microsoft plans major job cuts at Xbox gaming division. I think this is like the fourth job cut. This is by Jason Schreier. I think this is like the fourth job cut in a while. Yeah. Fourth big layoff at Xbox in the last 18 months. So they spent $69 billion on Activision Blizzard, and it's been a when will you show me the money for a while. from Xbox, right? When are we going to find out? They just now this week put like all the old like Warcraft games, like the RTS games on Xbox Game Pass for PC. But it's going to take a while before you don't feel like, that you wasted $69 billion. Like, how much money does that division have to make before you go, that's a good investment? That seems right. Like, it's going to take a while. They're cutting people. And they're not cutting once deep and then moving forward. They're cutting again and again and again. And sometimes you hear the number of the cuts. You go like, well, how many people did they really cut? And then you hear about it, you go like, oh my God, it was like 1,700 people. But then you forget that like 400,000 people work at Microsoft. So it takes a while before you get to a 1% cut over there, right? These are people's jobs. These are people's, livelihoods. They're sitting there planning out, trying to make things great, and shrink. It's tough. It's really tough. But in a way that's like on the heels of, them announcing effectively a new Xbox machine with the AMD deal last week. So Activision Blizzard, the games are hitting Game Pass. Game Pass is hitting all these great numbers. They're hitting a huge like string of hits in a row, like pop, 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 pop. They, when you have Doom, the Dark Ages, Avowed, which I think I saw Jason Schreier have a hot take. He says, I think Avowed is better than Expedition 33. And people are like freaking out. How could you say that, Jason? How could you say Avowed is better than Expedition 33? That's his opinion. Game reviewing, which is, I don't think, Schreier's thing. He's more of a reporter. But if you were a game reviewer and you're like, oh yeah, this is objectively a better game, like that's one person's opinion. People get upset when their opinion is different than the norm or the, read the room, right? Like if the room says, no, Expedition 33 is a better game, for you to come out and say, even if you preface it with hot take, I think Avowed is better than Expedition 33, some people are going to be upset about that, but it's your opinion. And the real question is, are you a video game reviewer that people are going like, hey, for the median gamer out there, I think this is a better game. If you were going to spend $70, 50 in the case of Expedition 33, if you were going to buy a premium game, modern game, not an indie, not a small hit, where's your best bang for the buck? Like you might answer that question differently than just like, I think this game is good. But gaming price points are all over the place. Some people are buying Death Stranding 2 Digital Deluxe this week at $80. Some people are buying Spiritfarer at $4.49. Like there is a huge amount of wide-ranging experiences to get. They don't really compete all with each other. The only thing that there's competition for is your time, right? We talked a lot about FOMO last week, gaming FOMO. When you're subscribing to games, subscribing to services, they kind of lock you in. You want to get the best value for it. And when you buy a game, you set yourself free. Like I bought it, I could play it when I want. I'm happy. So buy the games is the answer. Use the subscription services where it makes sense. But if you find yourself fighting against your instinct to play something else because you're paying for a subscription in a game or paying for a battle pass you don't really want to beat, set yourself free. Week 2, gonna keep saying it. Week 2. There's a lot of people still looking for a Nintendo Switch 2. A lot of people. However, if you signed up for a release day delivery interest in Switch 2, those emails are still going out. So you might have signed up for it, never gotten an email back. I just got my email this week that said like you can buy your Switch 2 from Nintendo. And you had to be a fan, right? Like you couldn't just be anybody hanging out trying to get a Switch 2. No scalpers allowed. You had to tie it to your Nintendo account. You had to be a Nintendo Switch Online annual subscriber. You had to have at least 50 hours played in like the prior couple of months on a Nintendo. So they were really like, are you a fan? Check, 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 check. Okay, you can sign up your interest. So I qualified. I signed up. I found my first Switch in Costco on day 3. So I already had mine, but my email came in. People are still getting these emails. And they expire 3 days after you get it. So they're working through that queue of giving it to the true fans, right? To the hardcore fans. So if you are somebody that's looking for a Switch 2, like stiff upper lip, it's coming soon. Um, I'm not going to buy that Switch and flip it. I'm going to offer it to my friends and family and see if they want one. And sure enough, my parents actually decided they wanted to buy the Switch too. They had bought a Wii and a Wii U and the Wii Fit games for both of those systems and some other games, golf. My dad liked to play like the Tiger Woods golf, the EA Sports Golf. So they had enjoyed those consoles for so long, but they're getting older and the consoles, not yeah. I mean, also yes, time marches on, ages us all, but they are. The consoles are getting a little bit older. It's almost like they're getting a little creakier somehow. I don't know. It's tougher to add people to the old Switch. My kids would go over, their grandkids go over to the house and they'd want to like set up a bunch of things. It's just getting a little bit harder. And, we've had a couple generations of Switches, Nintendo consoles since the Wii and a couple since the Wii U. And so things are easier. It's easier to add people. The games are more forthcoming is not the right word. They're more forgiving. If you're like, hey, I'm playing Mario Party and not everybody's got a Nintendo account set up on my system, you just give them a controller, you sign in as guest, and you move forward. And some games have been good about that, but like nearly all the games now are like, you don't have to do a big sign in thing, just play the game. That's all most people want to do, right? I'm here for an hour. Can we get a couple of rounds in? So they're much more user friendly nowadays. So they bought it. They bought it. It's coming in tomorrow. So by the time you hear this, it's getting delivered probably if you're listening on day one, and that'll be Monday. When the new episodes of the Andy B Show release. Mondays. And yeah, I'll probably talk about that next week. Yeah, we're going to set that up. The Nintendo Switch Online Family Plus Expansion Pack is like a pretty good deal, and it becomes a better deal the more people I think you have up to 7 people you can add to the Nintendo Switch Online subscription. And they tell you before you add somebody, they're like, just so you know, if anybody steps out of line, if somebody hacks their Switch, if they're mean to somebody online, if you do if you violate these terms of service, like we're shutting the whole thing down. Like you're going to lose it all. You might lose your digital games and everything else. So they really don't want you like adding on random people from the internet. I don't think my dad is going to do anything weird on the Switch. But you can add up to 7 people. And so it turns out I was like, oh man, I got, 4 in my household. I got 3 in there. It's like that'll work. Like everybody can play and everybody can play the classic games. My 8-year-old daughter was playing the Nintendo Entertainment System version of Tetris the other day. Why? Because it's there. It's like fun. So all of those old like Nintendo Switch Online virtual consoles, I don't know what they call them. They don't call it virtual console anymore, but you have all the classic games or a ton of them. They keep adding them. It's so good. I didn't think that in 2025 I would be more of a Nintendo fan than I was when the GameCube came out. But like, man, people give them some flack. Nintendo is not flackless from people wondering about digital rights management, game preservation, and just feeling like they can end up in a situation where, they don't own their accounts. They don't own all their games. And that's not an unrealistic concern, right? Like, what if Nintendo does ban you from your own? Do you lose all your games and all your saves? And I think the answer is probably yes. You could probably appeal. But yeah, don't hack your Switch. Don't hack your Switch. Don't be weird online. But it's still like this risk that's out there that, with the Wii, you bought physical editions of your games and they would just last until bit rot ate the discs, But when you have a big family, you got a couple Switches, and you could share game cards between them. You could play all the old games. It's pretty good. Like it's better than it's ever been over there with the Switch 2. So if you're somebody waiting for the Switch 2 and you signed up for, their invite emails, take heart. I think, the eBay scalping prices are still pretty low. It's not that much. I think the spread on most of them that are getting sold is like maybe $100, maybe $150, but less by the time you put in eBay fees or ads or whatever people are doing to get visibility out there. So it's still pretty good. It's pretty good, pretty easy to get one. Definitely way easier to get a first Switch, where you like, who knew? Easier to get than the Nintendo 64 back in 1998. I'll tell you that. That was fun. Calling every Kmart, Walmart, EB Games, Babbage's, FYE, every retailer in the area where we lived at the time, trying to find out when they were going to get a shipment. Can I talk to your inventory manager? I want to make sure something's coming in. That was a fun quest to try and find one. You have to show up when the trucks get there at like 5 a.m., waiting outside of the parking lots, freezing cold. I'm hoping there's some Nintendo system entertainment systems in there, Nintendo 64. It was a wild time. All right, one more news piece before we dive into some other games. We'll take a little break here. We said last week that, hey, like, there's no Beat Saber coming to the PSVR anymore. They're going to stop it. They're basically going to end support for Beat Saber. And I guess you could still play Beat Saber. But they're not going to put any DLC out. They're not going to put any new anything out for the PSVR, and that's kind of a huge problem. It's kind of a big problem for the PSVR, because it shows that Meta, who owns the Beat Saber studio, is going to circle their own wagons and go, no, we're going to have some more exclusive content here. So it was interesting to see the PS blog, PlayStation blog, kind of go like, almost in retaliation, and go like, hey, VR exists. We promise. Like, here's new stuff. Here's new stuff that's coming out in PSVR. Look at it. You're going to have tactical turn-based games. You're going to have exploration of a dreamlike world. I think they already showed that one. Hotel Infinity is another one that's coming out. So they showed like 4 new games on the PlayStation blog. So they're like, look, we're not done. No, we're doing more. Okay. Like, great. Like I would love to have so many reasons to buy a PlayStation VR that I can't even think straight. That would be great. I'm not there today. I have a MetaQuest 3. It's great. But like, you have to have a lot of reasons to put these headsets on, because you almost have to have a lot of time to put the headsets on. Like, I got to set that up, make sure everything's charged. Hey, when am I really getting, are we doing this? Like, okay, I guess I'm playing VR. And with the PSVR, you're also tethered. So you have to plug into your PlayStation. So they dropped the price. They're showing new games, but the content competition's heating up. Meta is definitely going like Batman exclusive. PSVR, you're not going to get Beat Saber anymore. But if there's any publisher that has a great built-in audience with some exclusive games, they did Horizon Call of the Mountain. I would like to play that. I like the Horizon games. Let's see that Decima engine in VR. I want to see what that looks like. Yeah. So, PlayStation can invest more. They want to put the hammer down there and make sure more of their properties come out in exclusive ways. Like, dude, let me just say, okay, Astrobot was my game of the year last year, 2024. Astrobot. An incredible platformer. So much charm, all of the, even more so than the Pac-In Astro game, that game with the PlayStation 5. It was just this ode to video games, this love letter to all of these PlayStation characters and other characters across the gaming industry. I know they did an Astrobot VR for the PS4, but I missed that. I didn't play that. I didn't have one of those. Most people didn't play it. I'll just, not a lot of people buy VR. They put out a new Astrobot game in VR in 2025, 2026. It's going to be difficult for me to not buy a PSVR. So if you're listening, Sony, put it out. Or put out, a substantial enough mode in the current Astrobot game. I know you're going to be making more Astrobot games. You put out a good PSVR Astrobot game, I'm buying in. Let me know. Let me know when it's coming out. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have a lot of like updates, releases. I got a public service announcement that you want to hear. And then there's a lot going on in the community this week. I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm playing. So there's more Andy B show to come. Stick around. Be right. Oh my goodness, welcome back. So glad to have you here. Here's a couple of like quick hit update things that if you're hanging out with me for a long enough period of time, you probably want an update on this. Maybe. I don't know. Let's find out. So if you are someone who was like, you know what I want? I want the absolute newest, hottest Nintendo Switch games for the Nintendo Switch 2. And I only want brand new games. You might be a little disappointed because the Switch 2 doesn't have that many brand new games yet. Donkey Kong Bonanza is coming, so buckle up. But one of the like coolest new Switch 2 games that came out that is also pretty cheap, it's like $15, is Fast Fusion. And it looks like one of those crazy like wave racer games from the arcades back in the day. But it is one of the few new games, and they just dropped new content for it, like 3 new courses, bunch of new courses, and they added a bunch of options for graphics modes. So if you're into Fast Fusion and you're into hot new content drops, Alpine Trust, Sunahara Plains, and the Zensho Habitat all got dropped. So these are based on like the older game that they made, Fast RMX, but new graphics, and they added like new options for resolution and FPS. It's crazy that like they will give you so many options. This game runs so fast, that it just looks great. Like it's just a great looking game. No doubt about it. So Fast Fusion, if you haven't bought this game, I would go wishlist it, pick it up soon. It runs super fast, and then you like you have cars like eat each other. You combine them. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like gun crafting. It's like, let me get this gun and this gun, put it together out of like, I don't know, dozen games that does that now. So you take the 2 different cars, mash them together, their stats combine in a way that's useful. They handle a little bit differently. They have game share, so you can have one copy and take your other Switch and play it. I think the game share works they only show it with the new Switch. I don't know if it works new Switch to old Switch, but most of the game share stuff does, which is nuts. I haven't tried it out yet, but I'm about to. Yeah, check it out. New stuff coming up on Fast Fusion. The other quick hit thing that was interesting to me is they announced the new PlayStation Plus games for July. There is a 15th anniversary of PlayStation Plus. I can't believe it's been going on that long, but it's some heavy hitters in here. If you don't own them, it's a big deal. Diablo 4 is going to be, free with PlayStation Plus. King of Fighters 15. Yeah, I'm going to play that. And then the one I'm most excited about, since I already own Diablo 4, is Jusant. Jusant is this like wild climbing game. And I don't have a video of it here, but you climb. An action puzzle climbing game in a meditative journey to the top of a tall tower. So there's some exploration, there's some story. I think I played a demo of it a while back. I'm pretty excited about that one. Like, I think that's going to be my download that I care about out of the PlayStation Plus. There's probably stuff coming. I'm not trying to like shun Xbox Game Pass updates, but I follow Xbox, but I don't know if they just don't package it as well. Like it doesn't come across my feed in a way that I just go like, bam. So if there's like an Xbox Game Pass drop that you're super excited about, leave a comment. Let me know what it is. Maybe I'll check it out. Maybe you'll be the person that talks me into resubscribing to Xbox Game Pass. Could be. Okay. I just remembered the other day that PlayStation Stars is ending soon. If you don't know what that is like, that's their little, hey, you buy games and you do quests and you get points and you can trade the points in for digital collectibles or like cash money, PlayStation credit, cash money. So you can buy more games. Xbox has one of these. Nintendo had one. I think they've kind of dropped it. And PlayStation's about to drop theirs. I don't know if people are abusing it or people don't care or it just costs too much money to make the system interesting. But it's, it's systems on systems. There's monetization schemes everywhere for those that have the eyes to see them. And this is one of them, right? It's like, hey, can we take people that are already playing their games and give them some points to help push them over the line to buy one more game? And the answer is absolutely you can. But some actuary, some bean counter, love you bean counters, is sitting in a back room somewhere and they went, we pay too much to make this. And so we should shut it down. So thanks. I liked it. I didn't really get a ton out of it, but I liked doing the little quests. They would have quests every month. They would say like, oh, here's the like PlayStation Magazine demo quest. They'd have like a cool demo disc looking 3D collectible. And so you'd have to go download a demo somewhere, play something to do it. So it was fun. It was like, it's something to get you out of your rut, man. It's like, hey, am I just playing FIFA again? I'm not going to crap on all the FIFA Modern Warfare players. It's too easy. But anybody that's stuck in the game rut, whatever it is, maybe you're just playing Fortnite the whole time. Maybe you're playing Bayonetta 3 for the 32nd time. I don't know what you're doing or how you're doing it, but maybe you're doing it. Something to break you out of your rut, right? It's like, hey, let me play something else. Let me see what else is going on out there, which is, to me, as a professional game sampler, I say professional, nobody's paying me to do this. You can go to patreon.com/AndyB show and give me real money if you want. It's a free Patreon, but you can subscribe for a couple of bucks a month if you want to support the show, because it ain't free to run it. This is still a hobby, I'll tell you that. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying the Andy B. Thank you for listening. So glad you're here. But it's fun. It's fun to play these different games and do these little quests. Anyway, they're shutting it down. And it's important to know because I didn't realize how many points I had. Coming to us, I can't believe this is the website that came up when I searched for it. Coming to us from the Times of India, Sony is ending a loyalty program for gamers 3 years after its launch. Here's what you need to know. No longer can you accept new members after July 23rd of this year. And soon, I don't know if it'll show me this without like full page ads. Oh, don't look. Okay. The ad that popped up on this page is a color blindness ad, and I am colorblind, so this is tough for me. I feel like they're insulting, like they know. Times of India, how do you know? Okay. The big dates that you need to know about. The program will officially conclude on November 2nd, 2026. After this, members can still redeem any points as long as they don't expire before the program ends. So here's the problem with that. And here's why I'm talking about it today, because I remembered that this is ending. And I wanted to warn everybody, like the selections that you can spend the points on, they can change that at any time. So if you're sitting there, I was sitting on like 13,000 points in PlayStation Stars, and I redeemed it for like 50 or 60 bucks worth of PlayStation credit. So almost enough to get Death Stranding 2. But there's no guarantee they're going to keep that around. They might go, yeah, you can spend these or keep it at the same ratio. Like, yeah, you could spend your PlayStation Stars points, but it might be on, digital collectibles that you can no longer see after it shuts down. They might take out anything useful. So I would go, if you're sitting on them, what I personally did with mine and what I recommend you do as a result is to go redeem those points, get them out of your system, make sure that you have redeemed them for something of value now, because maybe you're like me and you're like, I can buy Death Stranding 2 next to free because of just the points I've racked up, just playing the games and buying other games. Go take a look at it, redeem them now. It would not surprise me if they remove all of the like monetary options. I hope they don't do that. That would be kind of scummy to be like, hey, you've been able to trade like 1,250 PlayStation Stars points for $5 of store credit, like the whole time I've been in the program. So if they pull that on you, like it'll be shame on Sony. But obviously they're getting rid of this program for a reason. They've said, I think, that they're going to replace it with something else. But if it's purely monetary and they're like, look, this just isn't working for us, we got to drop it. And they pull that, you're going to be wishing you had spent the points. So go spend them, trade them in for cash. Now is my advice. Do what you want. not financial advice. It's just moon bucks to moon credits, moon bucks to Mars credits that you might want to do. It's time for the something useful segment of the week. So many of you know that I am uh, the number one Picross influencer, if not on the internet, then certainly on Threads. And there's something that is beautiful about all of those older Nintendo Switch games or Nintendo games being available on Nintendo Switch Online. So I could play all these old Mario Picross games that I've never played, including the SNES Mario Picross, which never came out in the US. And it's in Japanese. But if you've played the Game Boy Mario Picross, and I did, I played it, I beat all the puzzles with no hints. That's why I'm the number one Picross influencer. If that's you and you've played those, and you're moving on to the SNES, you might go, well, I know how the game works. I don't need to read the instructions. But it turns out when you beat certain segments of the Picross, if you fill out all the puzzles for part one, you get like cutscenes with like Wario and Mario, but they have Japanese. So I was like, okay, well, I can't read the Japanese, but I kind of want to know what they're saying. It's probably not Shakespeare, but I still want to know. And so I was like, wait a minute, I have like all these translation apps on my phone. What can I do? So I snapped a picture. I threw the picture into ChatGPT. ChatGPT spent a cup of water or whatever and then sent me back the translation. And somebody was like, well, can't you just use Google Translate? I was like, yeah, probably. I don't know if you could submit a picture to Google Translate. Well, not only, I just wanted to share this with you. This is why it's the something useful segment of the week. Not only can you have Google Translate do it, or at least on the iPhone, I'm sure it works on the Android. You don't even have to take a screenshot. You can just kind of hover over. And I'm going to show you this if you're watching, but I'll describe it to you how excited I was. You can use Google Lens or Google Translate. It uses Google Lens within the Translate app. And you can translate it to and from any language, and it will overlay it in real time. And so you could just point your phone up at the screen, read the translation, and move forward on any Japanese game that you don't have translation on. Is it going to be perfect? No, it's doing it in real time. Like, it's not going to be as good as someone, when they have people actually like translate the games culturally, all the jokes need to come along. So we know that there's a great reason to have folks that'll translate games professionally. But nobody's professionally translating Super Mario Picross on the SNES from like 1993 or whatever. But as you can see, and I'm translating in the video, I'm hovering my phone over my Horizon Forbidden West Aloy action figure, which I still have not unboxed. Mostly because it has all these faces on it, and I'm not like that seems too creepy to me to like have to hold different faces from Aloy, so I'm not feeling great about that. So I haven't opened it. Anyway, I'm holding up the Google Translate app against that box, and it's overlaying the translation. So it looks like if you're looking through the phone screen that it just has the translated text right where the regular text is at. So this is kind of a dream for people that really wanted to be able to play Japanese only games for a long time, but just couldn't get the translation. You have to download it and wonder, man, just point your phone at the screen. Like maybe everybody knew about this and I didn't know. Point your phone at the screen, have it translate in real time, and keep moving. So even if you're playing like faster paced, high dialogue games, I guess you could get like a phone mount, to where it's always mounted at the screen. You could just kind of read off there and then back to your game. Pretty sweet, because there's a lot of like Japanese only versions of these games, not only on Nintendo, but other places too. I had no idea. It turns out that there's a lot of stuff like this for PC. If you're playing on Steam PC, there's like overlays that you can get for Windows and Mac and Linux, so that you could do this in real time there. But like that doesn't necessarily work on like your Nintendo Entertainment System that's in your living room. So that's your something useful segment of the week. You can get real time translation tools probably right on your phone for Japanese games. Pretty sweet. Man, I got to tell you what, we're coming up on an hour of this show. There's so much that I still want to get to. I don't want to cut anything, but I don't want to go on too long either. I want to be welcome. So I'm going to quick hit a couple of things. Maybe we'll deeper dive into them in a future episode, right? So here's an ask for community involvement. I've been talking about cozy spaces in games. Maybe not cozy games, cozy spaces in any game. So it turns out you can have cozy spaces in cozy games. You can have cozy spaces in like blisteringly difficult, terrifying, bloodthirsty, action RPGs and anything else. In a cozy space, I'm working on my definition. And I haven't written it down yet, so this is off the cuff. It's a space where you can hit a button or teleport there, nearly at any time, but certainly at main points in the story. But there's always a way to get there. Like you're likely going to go back there at will many, many, many times. Maybe you can't always get there. Like if you're in the middle of a cutscene, fine. But like it's a regularly part of the game where you can go visit the cozy space or cozy space is. And usually you can do a lot of things. Maybe you can upgrade the space. Maybe you could take a lot of actions in there that have nothing to do with the rest of the game. And so the one that like comes to mind because it's so relevant to the week is Death Stranding, where Sam Porter Bridges can go hang out in his, like wherever he makes a delivery, he can go in and like hang out and rest and relax in his little room. And in the first game, I don't know what's in the second game yet because I haven't played it as I talked about. I'm getting there. He can do all kinds of things. He can go to sleep, take a shower, he can pee in the shower. He can look at all of his weapons. He can check his equipment. He could check his BB, soothe his BB. He can read all of his mission reviews. He can play with toys. He can crack open a Monster energy drink. Though I think in the director's cut they stopped paying for the Monster. It just became like Sam Porter Bridges energy drinks. So that's kind of it, right? Like a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with the game, but it gives you a little chance to relax, to not think about the horrors of the BTs outside. And it's truly like a safe space for the character, even in these difficult games. Famously, but I don't think it meets the criteria. The reason I say it, I don't think it meets the criteria of a cozy space. It's a safe space, and that's in all of the Elden Ring and Dark Souls games where they have the fires, the bonfires. That's not a cozy space to me. That's a safe space. But you can't upgrade it really. It's yes, you can fast travel to them, but there's only so much like hanging out you can do in there. So I think it's more of like a safe space, save point than a cozy space. Cozy space, you're living a little bit in there. You're upgrading things, you're hanging out. So I'd love to hear from you. I'm going to make a post on Patreon, patreon.com/ADB show, but you can leave a comment wherever you're at, whether it's on Spotify or YouTube. Let me know what you're thinking. What is your favorite cozy space? What is the cozy space that you would love to have featured in a future podcast or video? I'd love to hear from you. So let me know. That's my ask to you is to let me know what your favorite cozy space is in games and why. Yeah. We'll do another video or another segment on this, but I have a thread going right now on it's community spotlight again. Like there's a lot going on with the community lately. And if you're not on threads, andrew.n.b, come join me over there. You can follow me there. I said, hello, Nintendo gamers. I need everyone to help me with an experiment. Show me your Switch to home screen lineup without changing anything that seems smart. That's for me to take the pressure off of people that are trying to change it up. They want to have they want to put their best books out there. They want to make sure that their books about poetry and history are out in the front of the bookshelf when all of the romantasy and just guilty pleasure books or whatever are somewhere behind. No, don't hide that. Show me your screen as it exists today. That was my ask. And over 100 folks have done this so far. We're up to 20,000 views on this post. I'm going to talk a lot more about this, but I will just take a little sample here for the podcast. Here's one from Sam Kaplan. He's got the rhythm game on here. We Love Katamari and something called No Straight Roads, which he says is another rhythm-based boss battler. That was interesting. Here's one from By Garvey. It just shows, what's on. If you're listening on the audio, if your Nintendo home screen shows 4.5 games. It shows you a little bit about like how many people play on your Switch. So like By Garvey's it's just him. That's fine, or her. But it shows like 4.5 games. So you can kind of see a little bit about what's going on, but not everything. I think this is the best design. Like Xbox doesn't do this at all. The PlayStation does it, but it's just the bar across the top. And so the sparse and Spartan like view of the Nintendo home Switch screen is kind of the best way to showcase like what's going on with your gaming world. And it's so easy and beautiful to see. So people have really been enjoying. Please share me your home screen. I'd love to see it. They're playing Persona 5 Royal, Mario Kart World, Beyond Good and Evil 20th anniversary. It's Sudoku, and you can just kind of see the GameCube classics over there on the right. So it's really neat. And everybody has such different screens. Love this one. Look at this. Who's this one from? This is from Lucas Benfante. He's playing Hollow Knight for the first time. He's also got Another Crab's Treasure, which is like a Blue Sky Dark Souls game. Fantasy Life, which I haven't played. They want like $70 for Fantasy Life. If you're a Fantasy Life fan out there, please like let me know if this is worth it. It looks good, but $70, like is it a full like is it like a real Animal Crossing game? Like what's going on? You can see Hades right over here on the side. So there's this little bit of tease. It's a little story. Like what have I been playing lately, and what's kind of hiding out that I haven't touched in a while? That's like secretive off on the side. And there's well over 100 of these. Here you go. This one's from this is the last one I'll do for now. Chronic 17. He's playing Warriors Abyss, Bravely Default, Cyberpunk 2077. Hyrule Warriors, which I guess runs super, super well on the Switch too. And then way over on the side, you see Paper Mario. And so it's really neat. We had a ton of a fun time. I'm going to showcase this on the Patreon. I'm going to make a post, pick out some of my best ones there too. But feel free to come check it out. Yeah, I love that. And out of that, my wish list has like doubled, easily doubled. So yeah, I think my wish list basically is doubled. It's a wild time to be a wish list on one of my Switch on my Switch. Thanks for everybody that chimed in there. I think that thread's still going strong, and we'll do. I really am going to do like a post review. So we covered a lot today. I did not get to everything, but there's only so much show that anybody can handle. So I'm going to save a couple things, I guess, for next episode. Maybe I'll record a midweek episode. I don't know. But we covered a lot, man. We talked about Death Stranding 2, and maybe it's the same as Spiritfarer in a way. The Game Informer relaunch. Check that out if you're in the game magazines. Painkiller reboot. More layoffs at Xbox. How to get a Switch 2, maybe, if you signed up a long time ago. What's going on with PSVR, Fast Fusion updates, Jusant's coming out on PlayStation Plus soon. Trade your PlayStation Stars points for money. Don't let those expire. We talked about the Something Useful segment of the week, the real-time translation tools for Japanese games. Pretty sweet. And my ask for you, let me know somewhere. Comment, like, go join the Patreon. When that post comes out, I'm going to share that post for like, hey, tell me what your favorite gaming cozy space is. Not safe space, not menu, cozy space. And thanks for sharing all of your Switch home screens. It's been super fun to see all of those. So you can go to the Patreon, patreon.com/theandybshow. It's free. You don't have to spend any money to be part of it, but then you'll always hear about new episodes. There's a new video that just went up on the page called Off the Cuff. It's a new series when new gameplay videos that are coming out that are 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes long. I watch them, but I usually just watch them sitting on my chair, looking at my TV. It's like, I'm going to start recording my thoughts off the cuff. So the new one's up there for Blood of Dawnwalker, which is a game. It's made by a lot of folks that were out of the Witcher 3 development studio. So I think they're like their lead quest designer and writer, their game director from The Witcher 3, spun off from CD Projekt Red, and they're making a new game about vampires called The Blood of Dawnwalker. It looks pretty good. But you can hear it's like a 20, 30-minute video discussion, kind of off the cuff, late at night. You get to see me with my green tea and glasses on. So check that out on the Patreon. A couple of posts coming soon, like we talked about the Nintendo Switch home screen extravaganza post, and then asking for your contributions. So sign up now so you don't miss those posts. And I'm also going to give something else away. I don't know what yet. Probably some game I'm playing. I'll probably give away a free code. So join the Patreon to make sure that you're part of the giveaway. But everything helps me and you be part of the show together as we kind of build a community around the Andy B Show, a video game podcast. You can like and share my videos on YouTube. You can follow me on Spotify. It all helps. So what's going on By the next episode, my parents will have their new Switch. I'm going to set it up for them. I'll see what they're playing. Are we going to play multiplayer online Mario Kart between the two households? I hope so. Will I ever beat Death Stranding? Just how many games can my Nintendo Switch waitlist hold? I can't wait to find out together with you. Thanks for listening to the Andy B Show. I hope you have a great one. Till we see you again next time.